Hello, denizens of the internet. No, I'm not reviewing the Marvels, but I do want to comment on something Chris Gore, professional movie reviewer, posted on Twitter X that blew up. Turning Marvel and Star Wars into girl brands will prove to be one of the costliest decisions in entertainment history. While many agreed with him, including myself, others attacked Chris. Ouch. My initial response to this fellow was, "You've completely missed the point. Disney is a princess brand. Star Wars and Marvel were expressly purchased to add boys to Disney's financial mix. Unfortunately, Disney has systematically substituted the male characters with butch women, and the core audience is gone." Chris was just stating a fact. His point was not misogynistic. But let me raise the ante. Men are not interested in Disney's version or vision of female superheroes. Then Chrissy, Pop Culture Corner, responded to me. "I've said before, Disney didn't need to make Star Wars and Marvel a girl brand. I was already there. I think we can all agree that the Star Wars and Marvel brands have been degraded to the point of irrelevancy. But was it their feminization specifically that has hurt them? No, because the movies and TV shows were so horrible as to make them impossible to judge. But yes, in that the feminization was probably the cause of the grotesque and twisted scripts that attempted to shove a square peg into a round hole. More importantly, they lost their uniqueness. At its essence, a brand is unique. It inhabits a very clearly defined space. It is usually the emotional expression of its creator, and its job is to transfer some of its character and charisma onto its users, whether it's Star Wars, Sephora, Lululemon, Mercedes-Benz, or Apple. Chrissy liked Star Wars and Marvel expressly because of their male brand uniqueness. At no time was she asking for it to morph to her needs or expectations. The rules that made up Star Wars and Marvel were clear. She made the choice to bring their male values into her life. Were there misogynistic elements over its historical time frame? Probably, sure. Nothing that couldn't be adjusted over time. But the people demanding wholesale changes are never the consumers of these entertainments, and that's part of the problem. And those offended by Conan the Barbarian just need to shut up. There are a lot of women who would love to be Conan's Red Sonja. I'll add, Disney did something even worse than feminize those properties. They neutered them by filling them with dour women in baggy outfits trying to be serious, but without the gravitas of a Clint Eastwood. And the people behind the Marvels, the Eternals, and the Ahsokas are just not troublemakers, like John Carpenter, Paul Verhoeven, John Waters, Mark Lester, James Cameron, and many others, including women, such as Five Nights at Freddy's director Emma Tammy. So it's not just about men. But you have to be a troublemaker, which tends to be a guy thing. You have to enjoy covering an actor with exploding blood squibs and revel as they are detonated by the effects department and the actor writhes in glorious agony in a filmic death to remember. I'm not including John Wick because those kills are much too clinical and not B-movie enough for me. I'm sorry. Still, when I mention Wick, a brand image comes to mind. as it used to with Star Wars and Marvel, even Pixar, and especially Disney's own princess brand that was a powerhouse for decades. How is it a princess brand unless there is a romance between a man and a woman? And now you're screaming, any kind of romance should be fine. No one went to Cinderella to see girl on girl action, although that would be intriguing. But you say there are modern audiences out there waiting for this fare. Sure, but they don't seem to be buying tickets. Disney is no longer interested in romance. It's embarrassing, too schmaltzy, and a bit too cisgender for them. Disney, remember when you liked families? It seemed like such a long time ago. If I mention any of Disney's properties, your brand image will be that from its Halcyon days, not the crap made under their modern audience stewardship. If you buy Star Wars, Marvel, or Pixar toys, you're not buying the Marvels, the lesbian couple from Lightyear, or Rose Tico. It's Darth, Luke, Leia, OG Buzz, Woody, RDJ Iron Man. And you know who is mostly buying these toys? Mothers for their sons and dudes who like this shit. This is a fact. What Chris wrote was a fact. At its worst, we have witnessed total brand destruction. At its best, perhaps a dilution of brand clarity. Either of these are not helpful. There was a time when the Marvel brand was so powerfully, positively engaging that slapping it on Captain Marvel actually fooled us into watching it. Do you remember when every Star Wars movie was a must-see event? How many families bought each successive Pixar movie on VHS or DVD the moment they came out? I did. We did, yeah. What boggles my mind is the staggering billions Disney spent on acquiring all these properties and then seemingly willing to let them burn to the ground. What kind of fiduciary blinders does one need to have to nuke that kind of investment? Spend hundreds of millions of dollars on such low-grade efforts just to pray at the altar of intersectionality? Was it worth it, Disney? If the Mouse House has any hope of resurrecting these brands, the only solution is to go back to what made them successful. Put the properties in the hands of people who don't hate them, and let the directors toss in a few exploding heads. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.